All right, let's dive in. Today, we're getting into a really powerful leadership philosophy from David Rozek, and it's all built on one core idea, that if you want to build a great team, you don't start by looking at them. You start by looking at yourself. This quote right here, this is the whole thing in a nutshell. It's kind of uncomfortable, right? Because so much of the advice out there is about team building exercises and strategic planning, but this says, hang on, none of that's going to work if the leader hasn't done the work on themselves first. So, where do you even start? Well, it all begins with what Rozek calls the mirror foundation. Just think about it. You can't build a skyscraper on a shaky foundation. And in leadership, you are the foundation. Your own personal discipline is the bedrock for everything else. So what is this job before the job? It's all that internal stuff nobody sees. It's getting a handle on your own mindset, your habits, your emotional reactions. I mean, the logic is pretty simple, right? You can't ask your team to be disciplined if you're all over the place. You can't hold them accountable if you're making excuses for yourself. And this part is absolutely brilliant. We're always told that things like emotional control are just soft skills, but that's totally wrong. They aren't soft at all. They're the hard infrastructure. They're the roads, the bridges, the power grid that your entire business actually runs on. Without them, everything grinds to a halt.
Okay, so let's say your personal foundation is solid. What's the next step? Well, it's all about building trust. And here's the kicker. Trust isn't built with big, inspiring speeches. It's built through your character, day in and day out.
You have to realize your team has a microscope on you every single day. They see how you handle stress. They see if you're the same person on a quiet Tuesday as you are on a crazy Saturday. They are laser focused on your patterns, not your announcements. This really breaks it down perfectly. Think about it. Words, the big all-hands meeting, the motivational talk, they fade pretty fast. But your patterns, the way you consistently show up every single day, that stuff gets etched into their memory. That's what builds real credibility. And here's the bottom line. So many leaders try to correct their people or demand better performance without earning the right to do so. But according to this way of thinking, you have to earn that right. Your consistent character is what gives you the credibility to actually coach and lead your team effectively. All right, so you've looked in the mirror. You've built trust through consistent action. What's next? Now it's time to take all that internal order and create external clarity for your entire team. And you do that with solid, repeatable processes. Oh man, we've all seen this, haven't we? That huge binder on the shelf full of official processes, just collecting dust. Nobody's looked at it in years. Well, Rozek has a perfect name for that. It's not a process. It's just theater. You're just pretending to have a system. I mean, the difference is night and day. Theater is that confusing, outdated stuff that just gives people an excuse for why things went wrong. But a real process is alive. It's simple, it's easy to follow, and it's part of how the team works every single day. It doesn't create excuses, it creates clarity. This is the ultimate test. Seriously, go ask your team this question. If they all look at each other or stumble or give you 5 different answers, then you don't have the people problem. You have a clarity problem. The chaos isn't their fault. It's the result of a missing process. So what do you do when things inevitably go sideways? Well, instead of just reacting and pointing fingers, you need a way to diagnose the problem. This is where a simple framework comes in, helping you find the real root cause of the chaos. When a mistake happens, our first instinct is usually, who messed up? But that's the wrong question. We have to resist that urge and ask something much better. Where did the system itself actually fail? And the answer is almost always hiding in one of these 3 places. First, is it a people issue? A genuine problem is someone's mindset or habits. Second, is it a process issue? Is the system itself just broken or too complicated? Or third, and this is a big one, is it a communication issue? Was the goal ever made crystal clear in the first place? And this gets to a core leadership skill that nobody talks about enough: translation. A leader's job is to take complex ideas, a big strategy, a new goal, and translate them into simple, clear actions your team can execute. So if your team is confused, that's not on them. That's on you. The translation failed. So once you figure out where the breakdown is, fixing it is a pretty clear, disciplined path. Step 1, you have to align on the standard. Everyone has to agree on what good looks like. Step 2, you train and practice it. But step 3 is the one everyone forgets: daily reinforcement. You don't build standards with a single meeting. You build them by talking about them and coaching them every single day. So let's pull all these pieces together. The goal of all of this, the self-reflection, the character, the clear processes, it isn't just about hitting your numbers. It's about getting to something way, way more powerful.
You hear people-first leadership all the time, but that doesn't mean you just throw out all the rules and processes. Actually, it's the opposite. If you really care about your people, the best thing you can do for them is give them a clear system and the structure they need to succeed and win.
And this right here, this is the ultimate goal. Because when your team trusts you, when they have clarity, when they understand the process, something incredible starts to happen. They stop just performing a job, and they start to believe in what they're doing. And a team that truly believes, well, that team is basically unstoppable. And so we end right back where we started, with the mirror. Your leadership is constantly reflecting who you are, your discipline, your character, your clarity. So the real question isn't about your team, it's about you. When you look into that mirror, what does it reflect back?